The Prolific Experience is the event infused with the poetry, music, and soul that you've been looking for. Purchase your advance tickets for your experience at theprolificexperience.com.
A prolific experience. I want an experience for soulful people that love the art of real music and poetry, that's filled with people who are fine with not being part of a popular clique or the in crowd. I want an experience with people who sing their stress away, even though they were told they couldn't sing because they don't sound like Beyonce. I want an experience where poets who have poetry in their hearts and thrown aside notebooks speak their piece in spite of being told that they're not real poets by people that feel like they have a name for themselves. I want to go into a zone that's supposed to be judgment-free and not pay to be judged. I want to experience people that are closet poets, musicians, and singers that have never introduced the mic to their spirit. I want to see them walk up to the mic and let their spirits free. I want to experience people filled with soul who aren't into gangster rap, killing the spirit and blatantly disrespecting themselves. People who have a love for art and love the true old school back in the day R&B, neo soul with a kiss of real hip hop from years before these babies were born and know where the help comes from. So it's no surprise when you hear a gospel song come from their lungs. I want an experience that I can grow from, that when I leave, I know my soul has been fed from. I want a prolific experience.
Hello and thanks for tuning in to the Prolific Experience Neo Soul Show, where we are infused with poetry, music, and soul. I am your host, Prolific Jones. I hope your new year has begun on a healthy, safe, and positive note. Today, we are going to talk to spoken word artist, producer, and executive director of Underground Productions, LLC, Righteous One. This was a double interview as he also interviewed me for his show.
Version, raw, poetic justice. Up and down these streets, I hear the ghetto heartbeat in my head, keeping rhythm while repeating what the preacher said. Something about fish and a piece of bread and walking the path that my feet was led, feeding the souls that need be fed by saying the words that need be said, having faith in the blood that indeed he shed, and praying for those who wanna see me dead. In God I trust. No need for me to rush. My enemies get crushed anytime I bust to ashes and dust. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is, yeah. I gotta make you understand. See where I come from. Never had cash in hand in a lump sum. Never had stacks of grants or Benjamins. Been lacking in funds, in fact, since day one. Matter of fact, I ain't had many ones. Unless we count pennies, had plenty of bum. And the insidious slum, there's pity for none. Grittiest bums, scrum for the littlest crumb, which is silly to some. So they hustle till the daylight come, and dash from the popo when they might come, and blast with the fofo cause they quite numb. Poison hearts like hit by the dart of a blowgun. Wounds deep like made by the sword of a shogun. Live inside, but they can afford to show none. Most young got love for no one, cause most of them don't get love from no one. In God I trust, no need for me to rush. My enemies get crushed anytime I bust. Till ashes and dust, this is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is, yeah, yeah. You ain't got it.
What are your projects that you have coming up? What's going on?
All right, let's see. Well, of course, there's the podcast itself, which is a collaboration. Like I'm basically producing this with the some assistance with the nonprofit organization called Herb Aesthetics, Herb Arts in St. Louis, and there's a couple other things that I'm working on with a group, and see what we call this, a production house basically for content, and it's Most Precious Productions, and there uh, she is she's a DJ slash poet MC, and she owns her own content production space, and that's in Alton, Illinois. And so there are a few things that we're working on there, and a lot of what I'm doing right now, as far as the focus, I still have my stuff that I'm working on as far as my personal, um, projects, recording projects and stuff like that. I still have that. So I'm either writing or making beats or doing something to build that catalog up and start releasing stuff, getting the recordings done and start releasing that stuff. But the things that I'm focused on right now most immediately are content creation based, where this right here, the podcast, there'll be radio station stuff, to where I'm kind of building up more of an infrastructure and platforms, just building up platforms and infrastructure so that the next time anybody I know has something to put out, there's already a mini machine set up to help them get it out to people that they might not normally reach, basically.
Well, I was just saying, because I love everything that you did with our friend and sister in Cincinnati. And I'm going to tell you, I've been trying to put out this one project.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I might need to call Righteous. Because it's music's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm working with a guy named Omega Latham,
Mm-hmm.
and he's musical genius. Like, he just sits there, and then all this music just comes out his fingers. It was going,
Yeah,
how did
yeah.
you do that? But I've got a project coming out called Words Unspoken Now Said, and it's a journey.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was gonna be easier than do the book, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's things to think about that we don't normally think about. But if we so one of the things, so we, it's a done deal. So anything you need help on, that's nothing. Just let me know. We'll start chopping it up and building on that. But like some of the things that we don't think about when it comes to bringing together a recording project is a couple things that I started learning or reading about that I wasn't necessarily applying in the early goings was you got to listen to some of the projects that you love, maybe growing up, and how you put them in, and you listen to it from start to finish uninterrupted. How they almost seem to, almost in every case, the really good stuff, like the classic albums, CDs or projects, it it took you on a journey through like a sequence of events. Sometimes they use skits to tie things together, but one of the things we have to do is let's go back to listen to some of the things that we love, and not necessarily copy what they're doing, but just think about the sequence. Okay, first track, something like this. Second track, and be intentional with how we're tying together the messaging and the vibe of the songs, the vibe of the how we're tying it together to where it seems to have a smooth, cohesive thing, or does it kind of jump? And sometimes it's good to take it at least on an up and down journey. But yeah, just being conscious of the sequencing and the messaging, and like, all right, I want to tell a story because I want people to understand kind of how this thing started for me, and then where I'm at now and how I came, whatever.
And I think that's where I was at with it. I'm like, I want it to be as smooth as if I'm listening to. I know I'm not Jill Scott. Okay, I know that, but that I am Jill. Jill Scott. That I want that feeling, like when somebody listens to it 20 years from now. That's what I want people to have. You know what I'm saying? It's still relevant. That feeling that you get when you listen to them songs are still gonna be relevant. It's the day that person.
So if you could think of 2 or 3 things that you would say that you want folks to take away from this conversation, that they can apply to themselves, principles that you live by, or just things that you found helpful, that you just always remember to keep you going in this journey.
First thing I think of is making sure you speak your piece. And sometimes you don't have to speak it out loud. Sometimes it can be just literally writing it down just to get it out. Because there's something about your thoughts that when it needs to be said, it'll keep tapping at you. Speak your piece and speak your truth. Because sometimes when you're trying to do what other people want you to do, you can be miserable. And there's no point in being miserable all your life. But that's my 2 things.
Cool. And I haven't done this yet, so I ask people all the time. I've done all these episodes and ask people now, so I have to think about for myself what I would say. One of the biggest things or lessons that I've been learning is how much you can carry, right? And not for the sake of putting a limit on you, right? But you have to know that at that particular time, though you may have the aspirations to do 17 things, you might not be able to take that 17th thing on. Maybe the first 5 are not far enough along to completion, right? So we gotta realize how much we can carry as far as different tasks or hats we wear, and be comfortable with telling people when you've reached your limit, and that communication is very important. Another thing I would say is never stop learning, because this technology is one of the reasons why we can't stop learning. We have to keep up with new ways of doing things, creating music, even writing, even journaling and storing the poetry. You know what I'm saying? Like storing any written works or storing any paintings and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff can be transposed or transferred over into a digital state, and we can still keep it. We can still keep the integrity of that art intact. Never stop learning, and be about the business side. Like learn about anything legal attached to doing what you do,
Right.
an artist, and because that's important for the business side. Make sure
Mm-hmm.
you're taking care of getting, if there's contracts involved, if there's not contracts involved, sometimes you got to make a contract be involved just because you want to make sure everybody's doing what they said they're going to do. Because a lot of times, if something happens, then the verbal might not be enough to stand up in a court if, God forbid, something has to go that route, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be about the business. Be about the business. So yeah, know how much you can carry. Never stop learning. Be about your business.
Yeah, I got one more.
Go ahead.
Copyright. When we talking about the business,
Yeah.
copyright your stuff, honey. I don't care if it's one sentence and you say it's a poem, copyright it.
Copyright, trademark, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
Do the things that's necessary to protect your intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times it comes down to, you have an idea. And you were the originator of the idea. And
Mm-hmm.
granted, there's so many people in the world. There's a good, strong chance that two people can possibly come up with a very similar idea.
Yep.
In the way it sounds, and the way it looks, all of that is absolutely possible, right? But some things, there's no way you can duplicate it without a copy. So you owe it to yourself to make sure that you're protecting your ideas, your thoughts, your dreams, everything that you're doing. So let's tell people. You mentioned mentioned the bookstore and where that can be found, and any other, you can either restate that, and then any other places you can be found on the internet, social media, and such.
So I am on Facebook and Instagram as Prolific Jones, Prolific Jones 502. People they say, why do you want to do just 502? Like you're gonna be bigger than 502, but 502 has a lot of history in it.
Mm-hmm.
502 is the place of Muhammad Ali. 502 is the place of the Kentucky Derby, of which the first I think 13 to 15 of the Kentucky Derby winners were black. They were slaves.
Mm.
And for that beginning to have happened with people that they thought were nothing, look at where it is right now. So that's why I talk about 502. That's just a couple of things with me, but because I love Black history, love it. Prolific Jones 502 on Facebook and Instagram. If you are interested in being a performer at the Prolific Experience, which is a neo soul poetry nights, it's a group on Facebook, the Prolific Experience neo soul event, and we actually travel. So if you out of town, you want a Prolific Experience for your birthday, anniversary, retirement, whatever the case is, go ahead and just give us a call. Weddings, go ahead and just give us a message. Call us at 502-208-9625. And I don't tweet because I am overwhelmed with just the Facebook and the Instagram alone. But if you want to email me, Prolific Services 502@gmail.com.
Dope.
And how will we get in touch with you, oh righteous one?
And that's one of them. Righteous One and RYCHUSS. It's either going to be the number one. That would be me on Instagram. Righteous One with WUN spelled out. So righteous, RYCHUSS, WUN. It's like Facebook and most other places. You'll see it like that. And yeah, Spotify, where I have any music up, you'll be able to find it in that way as well. Email Righteous View or Righteous Word. So Righteous View, RYCHUSSVIEW, the correct spelling of view. However, Word, I use the U instead of the O, so WURD on those. I know it's.
But I want to thank you for being one of the positive influences that I've had during this poetic journey. Like, anytime I think of my poetry experience, you are like one of the main people in it. So I thank you for that.
Hey, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you for being who you are and have been, since we met. Always been genuine, always been. I didn't meet the bust your head, JC, and I didn't meet the bust your head, JC, and
No.
I wouldn't have, and that's one of those things. Until we have these conversations, we'll get to find out all these different facets of, of our individual journeys, and I appreciate the growth that it took, to recognize some things
Gee,
that,
look.
it's part of the survival, though.
Yes.
I'm sure whoever got busted in the head was, and most likely it was a justified act on your part. So
And it was.
I'm-
No, but I think everybody has that time in their life in which they have that crazy, you know, experience.
yeah,
But it's whether or not you want to stay there,
right.
you know. Um, and I didn't want to stay there.
Yeah.
So I had to hurry up and get some grow up in it. Plus, I had this little baby that's going to be 22.
Yeah, little
Now,
baby, yeah.
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 I'm just saying. So I had to get right about me, you know. Plus, I realized that wasn't where I come from.
We're thankful for the work and that you've put in to evolve and to get to where you are, and give all this love and light to the surrounding region, and continuing to do the things you're doing with the bookstore and with the events that you're doing live. And I pray that you find those good moments to get that rest that's needed, to be recharged and re-energized for the next project, the next week of events and things like that. So yeah, I think anybody you want to give shout outs to or thank for this.
First and foremost, Mr. Steady said Cedric Ritz.
Right.
Because I told him, because we've been together 13 years now. And I told him, I said, don't nobody deal with my crazy like you do. Like, I don't nobody else gonna do that. And nobody else will be worth it anyway. But I appreciate him for everything, his understanding of my entrepreneurial me, my teacher me, my, I'm baking cakes all day me. And then of course, all the people that we've come across, like, how we met, it was So Lounge and Julius, and 30 something with Everett, all the other places that we got to, experience in our time. Because I was just thinking, with y'all in St. Louis, seems like the poetry set, the art set is nice down there. We're trying to get it, like, there's a set down here, but it's not what we're used to. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna need to check that out. But other than that, everybody that's just been supporting JC Jones-Britt, Prolific Jones, whomever I might be at that time, whatever hat I'm wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it sticks with me. I just really, really appreciate it. People that buy my books and ask me to come and perform and all these different things.
I'll thank my mother first, my wife, most importantly, because she's dealing with the present day aspirations of still holding on to these passionate pieces of me doing my art. Well, she enjoys it. Queen Amina Williams, she enjoys it, but there's those times where it's like, all right, you got something else on something again, and you have to work around and manage, and because we got the kids and things got to get done. People got to get brought to places and learn how to drive and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely appreciate her allowing me the grace to take on this as a regular part of what I'm adding to, because like I usually try to take one project at a time, so at least that usually makes it, palatable. So because I'm just doing one thing that I'm locked into at a time, and letting the others kind of compartmentalize, and yeah, I'm usually good. But yeah, and then everybody who's been supportive over the years, within and surrounding, from St. Louis to Cincinnati to Louisville to Detroit, any place I'm not thinking of. I mean, back home, folks back home in New Orleans, sister, she's out in Dallas now. It's just people that's always been, not necessarily yes folks that's just like always going to be with everything, but
Support.
Support and valuable feedback, and that's really all we can ask for. Peace and blessings. This is the combination of the Right for Life podcast with
the Prolific Experience podcast.
This is the last one for this session. It's called Can't Give Up. Self-explanatory, right? No matter what you go through, you got to keep pushing as long as you're breathing, right? Truth is, I could be dying as I speak. I pray to God they never catch me lying in the street with a puddle of my own blood drying underneath. That's a grim thought to start with, but let me speak my piece. Life is too short to stay caught up in the drama. Any blessing I receive is thanks to prayers from my mama. Me and my sister close, we both have our own set of traumas. And queen of me to save my life, if I'm being real honest. So it's a pleasure and honor as I stand here today. But if ever feeling away, I won't be acting okay. Yeah, that's how we used to deal with stress back in the day. But that's a heart attack, a stroke, and then you packed in a grave. Compassion is brave, acting like you heartless is sus. If you lying to yourself, tell me who can you trust? When the pressure's on heavy, will you diamond or bust? You can't quit now, I promise you could make it, but you just yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man, I look in the mirror, I see the age, you know what I'm saying? I've been living this backup plan for so long, and sometimes I wonder why I still do this, why I still make music, I still go on stages, but I know as long as I'm breathing, I gotta keep going, right? Because deep down, I just feel like I'm still like this. I'm like this unknown legend, unknown genius, one of the illest minds designed Earth, Mars, or Venus. Let him in, he's medicine, intravenous. You get the picture once he live at Tipitina's. Bayou boy, growed up, got his game sewed up, pen and pad in his hand. Look here, man, hold up. Big and easy, cool and breezy, like a frozen cold cup from round the corner with them quarters from your teeted sofa. But you never hear him saying that they show him no love. Made his name and his home in the show me, show enough. Embraced with hugs like a long lost cuz. Had to start it all over, cause I lost my buzz. They see the platinum on the chin, think he tardy for the bloom, but you can stand him right up next to the hardest in the room. Finger paint in my placenta, been an artist since the boom. Flare 8 graffiti bump box embedded in my tomb. I'm the keeper of the boom, reaper under moon. You will not outwork me if you sleeping until noon. Can't just leap into this bag, it's flyer than you assume. I'm a dragon out of cocoon. For pretenders I am doom. And yeah, too far. Thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, this is Righteous One. You can hear this exclusively on my Bandcamp channel outside of this beautiful radio broadcast. Peace and blessings. Thank you, JC.
The Prolific Experience is the event infused with the poetry, music, and soul that you've been looking for. Purchase your advance tickets for your experience at theprolificexperience.com.